Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in today. It's Dr. Brian Prax, Vitality Now. We're so excited to have you here, and H Rothenberg, co-owner of Triple C Camp. We are super excited to have brought you back in, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be on the inside.
On the inside. So here we are on the inside of the studio, and today's topic might sound a little scary, might sound a little bit, I don't know if I really want to approach that, but let's talk about discipline.
Ooh,
it's a big, bad, ugly word, but you have a special way of doing that. I've seen you interact with your kids. You call them your kids. You have, what, 350 this year or something? You got
That's right.
350 kids out there at the camp, and I know you have your own kids, and we have our kids and
Right.
grandkids and all that. Discipline.
Right.
Let's talk about it, because
Sure.
I think a lot of people out there might agree that maybe there's not enough of it these days.
Sure.
What do we do?
What should parents do?
Yeah.
I think there's so many steps to go through, and we're going to have the opportunity to talk about this today. So if this is of interest to you, please not only pay attention to a lot of the specific recommendations and suggestions Dr. Brian and I are going to make. However, do some studying, have a plan. John Wooden said that failing to plan is planning to fail. And it's so important that we have a plan for working with our children. And when we have a partner or a spouse, and we are also responsible for our children with our partner or spouse, then we should have a plan with our partner or spouse.
Yeah.
Because our children are going to know who's being accountable to the rules and who's not, and who and what they can get away with and what they can't, and where expectations lie and where they won't. And so make sure that before you have children, it would be a great thing to talk with your spouse or partner about how you're going to child raise. However, if you have kids and you're kind of struggling, or even if things are going great, we're going to give you some gold nuggets today that are going to help you learn about what to do in regards to a positive discipline strategy with your children, or with perhaps your grandchildren, or with neighborhood kids.
Right. So H, we've talked about this before. Now we have 4 kids, and my wife, Dr. Jennifer. It's funny I always call her that.
Sure.
Jennifer and I have raised
I call her
4
that too.
kids. Yeah. And our attitude, and we tell this to the kids, and we have ever since they were, well, not infants, but ever since they were old enough to understand it. I say, hey, look, we are raising young adults here. We're not raising children. You would know. Just look at real-time TV or all the crap that's going on in the world. I see a lot of kids out there, a lot of children who are officially adults. I see a lot of babies out there who might be 40 years old. A lot of people out there sucking their thumbs still, and I see a lot of people who maybe didn't have this positive discipline. But I don't think we need more children in this world. We need more accountable, more positive, more self-esteem filled sort of adults out there.
And that's really going to come to the parents in the children's lives, or the adults in their lives, and it comes to expectations and accountability, right? So whether it be an employer, or it be a parent or a grandparent, when we're working with someone who may not have the maturity or the accountability, however, we are in their charge, we have the responsibility of them, whether it be as for growth and development, or it happens to be in a work setting or situation, we have a responsibility. And part of that responsibility is making sure that expectations are clear, that there's accountability, meaning benchmarks. So setting specific benchmarks for our children in regards to when something needs to be done versus just casually, when could it be done? And so this is big picture, philosophical things that need to be done. Once we get into the specifics of positive discipline, and we do this with our campers at Triple C, and this is actually a strategy that I train other camps and other professionals throughout the country, is that we make a huge deal out of the positive things the kids do, just period. So if a child holds a door open for you, we're going to high five, we're going to say, hey, that was awesome, that was great. If a child's not normally cleaning their room and they're putting some things away, we're going to positively reinforce that. There's really neat things online, like 100 ways to positively reinforce a child, and it gives you 100 different words to use as you're looking to positively reinforce. And what we're hoping to do is get more of that positive behavior by positively reinforcing. you want to be careful and not to positively reinforce something that's beneath them. You need to keep upping the game. So if a child helps clean their room, perhaps the next step up would be bringing the dirty laundry to the next expectation, maybe bringing the dirty laundry to the laundry room, if that's something that is a part of your family versus the parent doing it. And then perhaps the next level up would be the child actually washing their own clothes or folding their own clothes. And these things can be done by children that are 8, 10, 12 years old very easily. They can be trained and taught how to do it. They can follow through and be accountable to it. And there are natural consequences. Meaning if their laundry's not done, they don't have clean underwear, then they're not wearing clean underwear, which is a good experience to go through once. As a parent, we don't want to do that multiple times. But it is valuable for the kids to have that type of experience. Now, one thing that I'll say when we see some negative behavior, I think when there's positive behavior, things are usually pretty easy. Right? The real challenge comes is when we have difficult behavior. You know, Johnny might be watching television and it's time for dinner, and the family rule is the television goes off when it's time for dinner. And the parents are in charge, hopefully, and parents ask Johnny to turn off the TV and come and join the family for dinner. And so Johnny sits and continues to watch TV and frankly ignoring his parents. This is a problem from my or 100 other things in their child's life, and the question, well, what do we do about it? And so one thing that we train our counselors and what we personally do with our own children in regards to what we do at camp is that we focus on the desired behavior versus the undesirable behavior. So we won't even mention the television. We will only mention the positive, which is the family and dinner. So we need to focus our words. Our words are really important in regards to the way that we set this up. Because what's going to happen is that Johnny's going to put a vision in his mind when somebody's talking to him. And when you get told to not do something or turn off the TV, it's more of a negative kind of a thing. Or, you know, if you have a child who's likes to stand on a kitchen chair, and in the rules in the house, we keep our feet on the ground. So if you have a child who's standing on the chair, which happens in lots of homes, my parents would have said to me, get off the chair. And I have an image in my head when somebody's telling me to get off the chair of me being on the chair. And I want attention. So I'm getting what I want and what I need. I'm misbehaving. I'm getting negative attention for it. And there really aren't any real true consequences. However, when an adult in charge says, please put your feet on the ground, that's when you see the positive results, and we're never even mentioning the negative choice that the child made of standing on the chair. We're reinforcing the positive when the child does what is requested on the positive side.
This is incredible. If you're just joining us, we're here with Vitality Now. H Rothenberg is with us, a positivity coach, but he also coaches camps and camp owners to how to run their business,
sports
and how to really make a positive impact on people. You can catch us on Vitality Now every Saturday at 9:30, and if you missed this half or missed the last week or missed any of these episodes, get up onto WINA.com. You can check out podcasts. You can check us out on my website, chroniccarecharlottesville.com. We got these on there as well. I've got a YouTube. We've got a lot of great ways of catching this very important, vital information. So, H, I wanted to go back. Now, you said that that the go for the desired behavior. You also said, so rather than Johnny sitting there watching the TV and saying, shut that TV off, you might say, Johnny, we'd love to have you here for dinner.
That's right.
Instead. And then it also reminded me of, or going back a little further, you said, keep up in the game. This reminds me of a lot of the exact same strategies we use in our practice for our patients. So let's say a patient comes in with terrible peripheral neuropathy in their feet. And that means burning, tingling, and numbness in their feet.
Thank you
really,
for the
really
description. I needed that. I'm sure many the neuropathy.
So they come in with a problem, and they want to know, hey, can you solve this problem? The first thing that I do, and I'm almost patting myself on the back, is I say, let's set some expectations. What does this person expect? And if we're dealing with a an 84-year-old who's been a severe diabetic for the last 25 years, is out of control, and they want to get this thing 100% fixed. That might be an unrealistic expectation. So we have to kind of maybe change an expectation or work with the patient to get into a reasonable expectation. Then the next thing you said, if I'm a good listener, I was taking notes here because I'm loving this, you said accountability. So accountability are setting benchmarks. So if I have set a reasonable expectation with a patient, and I say to them, yes, we can get you there. You're going to need to do A, B, C, D, and E. That might be diet, that might be exercise, do these certain programs or stretches at home or whatever. When it comes 30 days, we have, I guess, what you would call an accountability appointment. We call it a reevaluation.
Check-in.
Accountability appointment or a reevaluation is like, well, how you doing? And if somebody's saying, this is amazing, I'm 50% better, chances are they're probably doing, they probably don't even really have to hold them accountable.
That's
we
right.
do anyway. How you doing on the diet? How you doing on those exercises? Are you keeping up with those stretches I talked to you about? Looks like you've been making your appointment. You're doing great. Congratulations. High five. Everything's going good. So we want to make sure that we're hitting those benchmarks, but we need to know what the benchmarks are. And then the other thing you said was to keep upping the game. So like you were talking about with kids, maybe with my patients, to keep up in the game. If a person's coming in saying, my toes are feeling better, and you know what, I've been able to do that diet, I've been able to follow it, 70%. I'm still having a hard time with not putting sugar in my coffee or drinking those sodas. Well, good, you come this far. Let's see if you can get rid of the sodas and instead drink water, because like you said, you got them up to one level. Let's bring them to the next level, knowing that that's going to help a patient, or in this case, a child, get to the next level.
One of the things I love about the concept of leveling up with kids in regards to expectations is that they're very used to leveling up, fortunately or unfortunately, in video games. And it's a real thing that they're dealing with on a regular basis. And they get it that there's a higher level.
You got to get to the next level.
You need to get to, that's it.
Yeah.
And that can really work. I also want to share with you about what happens when Johnny still ignores his parents, and even though it's dinner time, and what do we do? When
Please tell me. I have 4 teenagers right now.
I think it comes back to setting the expectations, and that the parents are in charge at home and in the household, and so you need to be accountable to your partner, your spouse, or even to yourself in regards if you're a single parent. And you're working with your children to help them grow and develop, you need to keep that accountability as well. And some people document it. Some people, it's more verbal for them. As Johnny is sitting and watching the television, and we've encouraged him to come to dinner, and we haven't mentioned the television because we give more focus to things, then the kids are going to give more focus to things. So what we want to do is we want to give Johnny a choice. Because the real desired behavior is to come and have dinner with the family.
Yeah.
His other choice would be a timeout. And when I talk about timeouts, I talk about short, insight timeouts. Not everybody believes in timeouts, and that's okay. Here's a suggestion. If it works for you, awesome. If it doesn't, we try something else. Yeah. However, most kids, when given the choice of coming to dinner or having timeout, television wasn't a choice. And the parents are in charge. Yeah. So that TV should be going off. And Johnny should be coming to the table, or Johnny's going to be put in timeout, and the parents are probably going to turn off the TV, and that's going to be a minute or two. I'm a believer in short insight timeouts that once it's over, then again, we look to positively reinforce a small thing. You need to rebuild perhaps anything maybe that you had lost with the child. Yeah. And still know that we love the kids, we just didn't love what they did.
The behavior.
Yeah, we really need to separate the children from their behaviors, especially as their parent and the number one influence in their lives. Yeah. It's not that we don't love or care about them, it's that we don't like the choice that they made. So let's present other choices to the kids. We need to implant those choices into their brains so that they see what kind of choices could be in front of them. Yeah. And that could be about behavior, that could be about science, that could be about math, that could be about sports. we're putting things into our children's lives all the time, and then the real thing is for them to choose what they do with it.
Tony Robbins, tell me if I'm wrong. Tony Robbins talked about CANI, constant and never-ending improvement. And that's what we should all strive to do. And with some of my patients and their expectations, now they're not my kids, and I certainly don't want to be paternalistic like a lot of doctors will with the white coat, and I know better, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do. But a patient will come in and they'll say, I'm gonna give that diet, it's usually diet H, I'm gonna give that diet my very best. And we get to the 30-day reevaluation. Ultimately it comes down to this. If I'm asking them, how much better are you in your neuropathy? And they're like, nah, I'm really not any better. I'm gonna go through all of those accountability questions. Well, how are you doing on the diet? Well, not really doing that. How are you doing on your exercise? Well, I've been busy. And they go through all those things. This is how I hold them accountable. Because they're not my kid. I don't feel like I can do that. And a lot of them are twice my age.
Right.
So I say, well, listen, Mrs. Jones, it sounds to me like you're on the Mrs. Jones plan. What you paid for was the Dr. Prax plan. How about if we give it a try, we go back, reassess, give it another try. Let's try the Dr. Prax plan, because when it's all said and done, win or lose, when all the numbers are up on the board, you want to know that you gave it your very best, your very, very best, and then you could say, I tried that program, it didn't work, or, yeah, I didn't really try it, right?
I love the way that strategy brings in a reassessment, and it really gives the opportunity for the patient in your situation, for perhaps the child in my situation, to sit and work on it together and say, are we going to move forward together or are we going to move forward separately? And in your doctor-patient relationship, of course, your patients have that choice, but they've come back into you for a reason. They're still looking for support. They're still looking for care. They still want some help in regards to, doctor, what should I do? And we human beings need that. Set to our own devices, we're probably not going to excel as well as we could without great role models and great accountability within that. We always will accomplish more when we are held accountable to someone else or even to ourselves. But there's got to be that strategy in place that I love the way you put that in with your clients. It works.
It works.
Right? Yep. And then but it also gives them that second chance. Say, I'm not giving up on you. Let's reevaluate together, put a plan into place together, and then execute the plan.
Exactly. So one of the things that I find in this quick fix, give me an answer, I want something now, in this instantaneous world,
tablet,
we got everything from instant ramen all the way down to the microwave. People want to go to their doctor, they want to get a medication, they want something, I want to take it now.
Lose 20 pounds with this magic pill.
Exactly. Nobody wants to work, to dig deep, to have to change anything. After all, people look at me and they're like, you swam a mile today? Yeah, I swam a mile. I could never do that. I couldn't either before I started doing this either. You got to set your mind to it, and I think we're on the same page. Whether we're building kids, or in my case, building nerves, it's hard work.
It is.
You got to work at it.
Absolutely.
If you're LeBron James, you don't just get to that level and then coast.
Or have that body.
You don't take.
Oh my goodness.
He's amazing. He's amazing. You don't get to that level and then just coast for a while and take your foot off the brake or off the joystick. You keep pushing it. It's constant and never-ending improvement, and that's what I find is what gets us to where we want to get.
Here's what I believe in, Doc. We crawl, then we walk, then we jog, and then we run.
And then we can sprint.
There it is. If we go right to sprinting, we're going to fall.
You're going to get hurt.
We're going to fall.
I know that.
So having the support, whether it be a doctor like Dr. Prax or other mentors or teachers in your life, look for that kind of leadership and that role model. No matter who you are, we could all use someone as a role model, and people are out there. Even if they don't know that they're a role model for you, you admire something about them or you respect something about them, look and see what's working.
Yeah.
And when, there's enough people out there, look and see what's working. If you need that role model or you need a kind of an interior check, look for someone that is doing it, somebody who's making it happen, whatever you're having issues with, and see why are they making it happen? What's working so well for them and I'm struggling? And then you have the opportunity to really learn and grow from others, whether they know it or not.
Yeah. and it can be as costly or as investment wise in buying somebody's time, or like you said, look for somebody who you admire, something they're doing. For example, I went out to lunch with you. I called you and said, H, let's do lunch. There are people who you admire who would love to go out to lunch. First
Sure.
of all, we like to eat,
We do.
but at the same time, I know so many people who are in a business like mine or not even in a business. I have another patient who is a financial advisor.
Sure.
Hey, would you like to do lunch? Yeah,
That's
sure,
right.
it'd be great. And I go out and I pick his brain just like I picked your brain at lunch yesterday, and I can get so much information. But like you could pay for help with your doctor, with your therapist, with with counselors, etc. Or you can find friends, colleagues, or somebody who you admire, like you said. Take them out to lunch. Offer them a cup of coffee.
You know what I've seen a lot lately are these Beachbody coaches, people throughout the community who are exercising and working out and looking to bring other people along with them. I mean, what a great way to get more physically fit with friends and have the support who's somebody who's experienced and who's done it.
Hey, that reminds me. Since we're coming up on the end of the show, I wanted to let the listener know that in the office, it's not a weight loss program per se, but it's a get healthy program. And for my patients, almost all of them were recommending that they do our metabolic repair program, is what it's called. It's a model of eating. It's a way of eating. It comes with a few supplements. And my staff and I are going to be starting that in the beginning part. I think it's July 10th. I have to look that up. But in the beginning part of July. And for those of you who are listening, if you're interested in losing 5, 10, and we even have a guy who lost 22 pounds in a month. Now, of course,
I've done that before.
I have to be able to say, yeah, you've done that program. I have to say that, all, results vary and
Sure.
all that little stuff
Disclaimers.
right there. A little disclaimer there. But hey, if you want to join us, if you want to join me, I'm going to be doing it. My manual therapist, my staff, we're all going to be jumping in and we're going to be doing this to not only get ourselves healthier, but also to encourage other people. In other words, it's fun to be able to say, yeah, I know it's hard not to eat that bread. I'm doing it too. Okay, so that's going to be in July. You can certainly call my office. The number is 977-5433. You can look us up on the website. It's chroniccarecharlottesville.com. If you missed this show or other shows, you can look it up at wina.com podcast. You can also look at my YouTube. I know we got a lot of things out there, but you can look at my YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Dr. Prax, and that's P like Peter, R-A-X. Well, H, here we are. We've run out of time again.
Amazing how quickly it goes.
30 minutes has come and gone, and here we are. And I wanted to thank you once again. And for those of you who are listening, constant and never-ending improvement. Keep at it. Keep at it. Keep at it.
Remember to make it happen. 10 little words. If it is to be, it is up to me.
Thanks, H. Rothenberg.